Islam is not misunderstood and not peaceful. It never brought peace, only the sword. And the sentiment of Islamophobia, originally anxiety and rejection of everything that is Islam, because Islam was an invading force that came through empires and attacked over and over again, was justified, and probably still is justified, because Islam stopped invading countries not too long ago, and not voluntarily, and many among the followers of Islam think and hope of peace.
Many claim that Islam is spread by the sword, and they forget that you have to have the sword first. How can a man against the whole world conquer the most powerful forces at this time without having an idea? The idea of Islam with the actual sword. The Prophet, peace be upon him, worked 13 years proselytizing. At that time, Muslims were banned to use force against non-believers, and jihad or fighting was permitted in Medina. Then it was permitted to Muslims to attack their enemies for spreading their religion and enabling people to choose their belief by their own will. Persians and Romans started to attack the edges of Arabia. For instance, the Romans took the leaders of the Arabian tribes who lived on the edges of Arabia. They were tortured, led tied to be crucified. Meanwhile, Persians killed one of the Arab Muslim leaders in Iraq, whose name is Nu'man ibn al-Mundhir, that forced the Muslim Arab tribes in Iraq to seek help from others in Medina. Hence, Muslims started to expand outside Arabia to protect, not to kill, or compels anybody to be Muslim. Perhaps the presence of Christians in Egypt and in Sham till now is to bear witness on the tolerance of Islam. Let's not to go very far back, just to the 15th century, where the New World were discovered. And let's discuss the doctrine of discovery.
In simplest terms, the doctrine of discovery is the idea under international law that when a European Christian country was the first European to discover new lands, they had a legal right to that area.
The doctrine of discovery defined anybody who is not Christian as less than human and unworthy of land ownership.
The doctrine of discovery, as practiced, is evil. It provided that only those who know Christ are to be the chosen people. And it indicated that those who did not know Christ, who were not baptized, were heathens and had no souls and were animals. As a result of that, those heathens and animals could not own, possess, manage, or use their own indigenous land.
Welcome to Native American population before 1492. Before 1492, Native American people lived on this land we know as North America and South America. They thrived with their own worldviews, their own education system, spirituality, community structures, and more. According to BusinessInsider.com, it was estimated that the population of Native American people was 60 million people. Other scholars believe it was as high as 300 million people. By 1592, 100 years later, that number dropped to 6 million Native American people. With the arrival of the colonizers and the settlers,